Hello once again. You're welcome to the discussion segment of our daily show, the Poly TV show, here at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro Television. My name is Femi Afolabi, like you know. The year 2025 that is winding down, of course, very many occurrences. Everybody recorded them. Individually, at the corporate level, we recorded different things, different perspectives. And here I want to tell you that here in FPI, the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, we've recorded unique occurrences that continues to glide in our hearts. We are proud to be Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. This afternoon, I'm being joined in the studio by the Deputy Registrar in charge of Protocols and Public Relations. We call him the P.R.O. of the institution. This year, the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro was converted into the Federal University of Technology Ilaro, FUTI for short. And since the news broke, very many occurrences have happened, very many things are happening, and we are glad that things are happening. We want to continue to expand on that occurrence. We want to talk about it, how it's going to affect the people out there, especially the publics of the institution, how it will affect you and how the student population there are going to benefit more from the new status of the institution. P.R.O, sir, you're welcome to the discussion.
Thank you very much, sir.
Once again, we received the news that gladdens our hearts, the conversion of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro into Federal University of Technology Ilaro. Of course, very many things have happened since that pronouncement, the gazetting of the new name. You are the P.R.O. of the institution. Perhaps you have more information that we do have here. What is FUTI meant to the publics?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, viewers at home. FUTI is no longer news now. It's an event. It has come to stay. And like you said, a lot of things happened during, until now concerning Federal University of Technology, Ilaro. The pronouncement, the gazetting, and then recently the ministerial visitation from the Federal Ministry of Education to assess the readiness of the institution to take off fully as Federal University of Technology, Ilaro. So a lot of waters have gone under the bridge, and that personally I can say FUTI is ready to go.
Let me make a recall. When the news broke, when the announcement was made, prior to the gazetting and the visitation of the ministerial team, very many people are saying, yo, this is long overdue. It should have come earlier than now. But of course, God decides when it suits anybody that he or she blesses, he blesses. Now, the question I want to ask is, past authorities, past administration here in Federal Polytechnic Ilaro have been on this thing, this conversion, and it gladdens the heart of everyone that it is during the regime, the tenure of Dr. Mukaila Kinde, that the news, the conversion gets to its approval stage. What does this mean for the present administration, the present leadership here?
It's a big landmark for the present administration. But as you know, the process is a continuum. It started during the era of architect Olusegun Olanrewaju Aluko, where the past rector then, Dr. Rahim Oloyo, was in charge of this conversion. They both went to Abuja. In fact, it was the present rector who followed them there. He didn't even know that he would become the rector when the realization of FUTI will come. But we wouldn't say it is the baby of this, like it midwifed it. The conception and everything started far before the assumption of office of the present administration. But the fact remains that they both work hand in hand. It's something you know, like, sorry if I speak Yoruba, only tí ó bá nídìí àjòjì kò gbọ́dọ̀ mọ sàárè afọ́jú. Somebody will just enter the town and point that the person buried there is a blind man, if nobody informed him previously. So it makes it easy for this present administration because they've been part of the processing. So what it means to them is like when you carry pregnancy, you know, it's laborious and summarizing until the delivery of the baby. So the delivery of FUTI comes during the tenure of this administration, and that is why it is historical and a landmark to them.
Let's look at this discussion that has been here and that is still here and that will outlive this FUTI. I know there's this stereotyping, there's this propaganda that very many people prefer university education than polytechnic education. In fact, in government circle, in official circle, there's this dichotomy and discrimination against whoever holds certificate, or polytechnic certificate. Now that we have FUTI here, it has added to one of the universities in Nigeria that the candidate can seek admission. Do you think the talk about preference of university against polytechnic, does it suit or does it meant well for Nigeria as a whole?
Oh. The dichotomy has been on for a very long time, and it's very unfortunate. Even in the polytechnic system, they do discriminate against the products, not physically, but when you are a polytechnic product, you cannot be lecturer. You are either a technologist or an instructor, and a graduate of the university will be given lecturer cadre. The same thing in the administration. When you are a polytechnic graduate, you either become an executive, you either be in executive cadre, like in the registry, you'll be either a chief executive, assistant executive officer, whereas the university graduate will be given the administrative cadre. Administrative officer 1, administrative officer 2, and so on and so forth until, and the polytechnic graduates cannot become the registrar or because it must convert. He or she must convert.
That's
to
according to civil service rule.
According to civil service rule.
Not peculiar about.
Not peculiar. I said polytechnics. I didn't say federal polytechnic law here.
Okay.
So generally, that is the way it is. So the dichotomy is mind-blowing. The students don't. I remember I also graduated from polytechnic. So when we get to school, the first lecture we had was that the lecturer called us JAM reject. He said the JAM reject, the university reject. And some of us, we cried against it that, no, I did not even apply to go to university. I actually wanted to come to the polytechnic, and here I am. You see, it's unfortunate that we are in some advanced countries where people are changing. They are converting their universities to polytechnics, but we are changing to universities, polytechnic to university. You see, a nation that wants to grow needs technology to grow, and the university system they work hand in hand. But it's just unfortunate that in this part of the world we draw a big line between the university graduate and the polytechnic. Thank God that's over now. We are no longer polytechnic. We are a university. So
you know why I asked that question is that even when you get to the private sector, most employers of labor in the private sector, particularly the big manufacturers, they prefer somebody that has that practical orientation that is coming from polytechnic, even than holders of pure
Yes,
theoretical
BSc or
certificate.
whatever. Yes, that is what it should be. That's why I said according to the civil service rule, that is in the government sector. Out there, people preferred technicians, people who understand what they are doing. Let me give you an instance. I did my 4-month, what do you call it, SIWES then, at the NTA, Abeokuta. And the person who was my supervisor then was a core member. And we normally go out together. He would teach me this, how to do it, this, how to do it, this, how to do it. To be modest, I happen to be the first attaché that will go out to cover an event, and that will be reported same day. And fortunately for me, it went network. You know, once you are NTA, if your news is very, very good, they will transmit it through the network. So one day, there was this assignment of which we were supposed to go and do for the late Chief MKO Abiola. You know, there is one Islamic school in Abeokuta, Sulika Abiola. Yes. So it was an advertorial. They paid for it. So, and we had to go. Unfortunately, I took ill. I couldn't go. So early in the morning, my supervisor came, the core member came and said, let's go. I said, I wouldn't be able to go because of so. The guy just left. Unknown to me, he did not go for the assignment. And then when Abiola gave you an assignment, then you know what it means. So the news aspect of that thing should be either the first or second item. But immediately the first, the second, the third. Wọ́n kàn gbà wá láago ní station ni. Yeah, news me. So they asked for those who are in charge. They came to bundle me at home. Now why didn't I go for the assignment? I showed them my sick off. The copper in question also said he took ill. But where was your audition? Nothing. So his service had to be extended. So it pained me. So the following morning I asked him, bro, why didn't you go? He said, Shola, let me tell you the truth. I can teach you how to write news. I cannot write it by myself. So and the one far. And he was a graduate then. So that is where I begin to draw the line between polytechnic education and university theory.
Because as a student of mass communication from a polytechnic, you must have done serious practical orientation.
Everything, write news and do some other things. Though he was good teaching that thing, but to put it to practice, but you should have told me, I've like gone with you. He said, Ojun Tim. So there's no, they have different pathways and they have different focus and importance. But the fact remains that once you are a polytechnic graduate here in Nigeria, you are second fiddle. And that is what people are shouting against. Even, let me tell you another thing. When I finished my HND, I wanted to go straight for a master's degree. They said I should go and do PGD first, or I should wait for 5 years. Believe me, I waited for 5 years because I never wanted to go and do PGD because I know what I was holding is even better. What are they going to teach me at PGD? But that is the situation. So because of polytechnic education, I had to wait for 5 years. So the dichotomy is real. It's real. So many times they've paid lip services to removing the dichotomy. It's always on paper. It hasn't materialized. It's quite unfortunate.
Well, we will get there one day.
By the grace.
Let's talk about this FUTI of a thing. I know when it was announced, you are in charge of communication between the school and, of course, the public. You transmit information from the school to the public and get feedback. What was your feedback? That this institution has become a university.
The town almost erupts. There's always almost a volcanic eruption that day because people were jubilating. Even our alumni, they start calling, the students, they even started asking me, okay, are we going to get BSc or is it HND? I just tell them that when the time comes, we'll know what to get because I knew then that it is not something that is going to take off immediately. So it was the the community, Ilaro and the environs were in jubilant mood. They were so happy because even our people the parents who normally bring their students, they will always come at the dying minute. Say, but Mboleti Fele is tell before na pe university lo fẹ́ lọ. But university ò bọ́ sí la ní kó wá síbí báyìí, and that is affecting the psyche of the students too. You see somebody will wait at home for almost 3, 4, 5 years before coming to the Polytechnic. So when the news came that Federal Polytechnic Ilaro is transforming into university, everybody was happy. They are very, very happy. So that is what even those of us inside too, we're so happy about it, because if you are working here and you want to transfer your service from the Polytechnic to university, you'll be re-evaluated. They may step you down 1 or 2 levels.
Your emoluments.
Everything will be affected. So a chief lecturer here may not get more than senior lecturer in the university something, and you see the chief here now, it's now senior lecturer over there or something like that. So everybody knew that now, so we're all happy about it.
Records have it that this host town, Ilaro, has been transformed tremendously, even with FPI.
Yes.
The student population and the presence of the institution. Now that when we are going to FUTI fully, what does it mean?
It reminds me of the sayings then. One in about your poly kuro nu laro kokularo mo. That was when when we were polytechnics. Because believe me or not, every nooks and crannies of Ilaro, the landlords, the students, the market, students, everywhere. So, and then Ilaro, then apart from Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, what we have is the local government, the state hospital, and so on and so forth. So how many staff do all those one? How many staff do they have compared to even the number of the lecturers, not to talk about the students of the Federal Polytechnic? So now that it is a university, the population will almost triple, because there will be new courses, and that I think the quota system, the quota, that is the student quota, the one that they give to universities are larger. Maybe in the Polytechnic, when they give say something like 300 or 200 or 100 to a particular department, if it is university, they may give 400, 500. So it means everything will multiply in about 3 or 4 folds.
So, well, my next question may necessarily not for you directly, but okay. I know that with your experience with FPI, you may want to project into what likely will happen when FUTI eventually takes off. How do we prevent or forestall extortion by the town?
Exploitation. I may not see it as exploitation, because the little economics I do will tell me that demand will dictate what the supply will be. Right. In a town where, when I started working here in 1983, I think my rent was 10 naira per month. 10 naira per month. And that was even because I was closer to the Polytechnic environment. You see people renting house for 3 naira, 5 naira per month. So anywhere you have a tertiary institution, it's not peculiar to Ilaro. Anywhere you have tertiary institutions, the tendency for hike in prices of things is very, very high. It's very high because, the number of people that will be patronizing the limited. So that will cause a lot of problem. Unfortunately, then the federal government restricted the construction of hostels. Assuming there are hostels, in which will take a sizable number of students, that will have prevented them, because it is once what you have is what you sell. If you have a room and about 5 people are juggling to have that one room, there's every tendency for you to want, okay, highest bidder. If I call it 10 naira and about 10 people come, and I can't even give, I will increase to 15 to begin to reduce the number of people that want to take it. So that is what is happening. But there is this forum, we call it PICOF, Polytechnic and Ilaro Community Forum. So PICOF, that is where all the stakeholders and the market women and the market men, because we have men and women in the market now, the market women, the traders, the transporters, and everyone. So where they meet to agree on what to charge and how to charge. There was an unfortunate incident in 1997, 96 or thereabout, when an increase of transportation rose by just 10 naira, and it caused pandemonium. In fact, a lot of people died, both indigenes and àwọn yẹn á pè ní ogun indigo, the indigene war between the polytechnic. And to forestall that, because we know so many things, in fact, the polytechnic was almost closed down then, because the thing was, so that was what birthed the PICOF, where they will see that they will call landlords and tell them that, look, if you must charge, you must not charge be above this. You must not the market women. But what they will tell us is that in Kota and Bara,
free market economy,
I have every right to sell my thing. You see, we observe then that something you buy at 10 naira at the market, the closer you get to the polytechnic, the higher the price will go because of the population. But now that university is coming, and now that there is a good rapport, there is good town and gown policies between the polytechnic and the institution, the polytechnic is able to manage it. Most of the time, the rector will go. Those of us, those students that are on campus, they are not up to 10% of those outside. And then the magnanimity of the management of the position. Do you know that we even we provide security to people staying outside? We work hand in hand with the other security agencies to monitor the activities of the students. The polytechnic will always even warn their students that, look, anything, even if you stay outside, we still have power to control you. Anything you do outside the polytechnic and they come and report you, we'll still treat it. And the same thing, if you maltreat our students outside, we'll take it up. So
for the record, I'm proud and able to say that the environment here, the polytechnic has been largely peaceful, and that has encouraged stability of the academic calendar. We have not had any occurrence of cultism. We have not had any breakdown of law and order between the student and the host community, or even within the student. How has this happened? What effort that went to this?
Yorùbá ò say pé ẹni tó wà ní tìmọ́lé kò mọ ẹni tó ń bẹ̀bẹ̀ fóun níta, and that is why I feel a bit sad when students come and complain that why is this clinic is a glorified secondary school. They will even tell us to come and be wearing uniform. I laugh now. They are the one prescribing uniform for themselves. So you see mass congregation to wear different this thing to school on certain days. You see, before this could happen, a lot of sacrifices have been done. So many, because it is not that there was no courtism before now. There has been courtism, and the way and manner the polytechnic has been able to manage the activities of cultists is highly commendable. So those are the things that you see, that we have a dressing code. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do. When you are walking almost half naked on the campus, human beings, we are irrational in thinking. when a man sees what he's not supposed to see, he will react the way he's not supposed to react. So when we put all those things on ground, you hardly see any of our students with tainted hair, piercing of nose, wearing skimpy dresses, sagging, and when you get to our gates, you see them. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do. But students, wọ́n ní ẹni tí à ń gbòòrò mọ́ díẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ikú, ó ní kò jẹ́ kóun lọ sí àkìtàn lọ jẹ. When you tell them don't do this, they don't know that we are using that to protect them. So when you dress, it is the way you dress that people will address you.
And even to shape their future.
Yes. So it is the whatever the system they put in place here that gives room for this peaceful coexistence. Hardly will there be riots between the students here, or even student and student. You know, there could be internal crisis too. A particular cult group will raise this thing against another one. I will buy something for 10 naira, or I carry Okada. Okada will charge me 20 naira, and I know the thing should not be more than 10 naira. I say, okay, no problem. When we get to the campus now, I will now give him 10 naira. Wahala will come. If you beat the Okada here, he will go and bring his own people too. And so there are checks and balances. So that is what God has been helping us to adopt.
I want to place on record that the management has been very forthright and adopt unique styles to manage the environment as it were, and it has paid largely. I want to commend the management, and please take that commendation on behalf of the management for us.
Thank you very much.
As we are winding down on this program, the year is running to an end.
This is
season for exchange of gifts, exchange of love, exchange of wishes. We would like to express your feelings to the management, the staff, and of course this station.
Yeah, I will do it the other way around. I want to express the management's feelings to the people of the community. Let me say, on behalf of the council, ably led by Garba Gashua, and the rector, the principal officers, management, staff, and students of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, we want to first of all appreciate God Almighty for where it has pleased Him to take us to. And last year we were FPI. Now, going into next year will be Federal University of Technology. We want to thank God for that. And we want to express our sincere appreciation to the host community under the leadership of Kabiyesi Oba Dr. Xavier Kehinde Olugbenle, who the paramount ruler of Yewa land, who has been a father figure to the Polytechnic. There's hardly anything we do that he will not be here. And I think he will be the first Kabiyesi to have a building on our campus here. You know, Oba Hall, they call it Oba Hall. Maybe some people may not know why they call it Oba Hall. It is boldly written there. It is the hall was donated by Kabiyesi. We want to thank the landlords. If we have 10% accommodation on campus, are we expecting that or the remaining 90% will be sleeping under the bridge? Unfortunately, I don't think there's any bridge in Ilaro where students can sleep. So we want to thank them for accommodating our students and ourselves, because not all of us have our own houses. So we stay in some people. The market women and men, we want to thank them. Wọ́n lè máa sọ pé wọ́n Ọlọ́run sọ àwọn èèyàn máa sọ pé tí nǹkan bá ṣe àwọn kọ́lọ́run jẹ́ ká máa rówó rà. Tá a bá ní kó wọn tí ò bá wá sí, there will be problems. So we want to extend our appreciation to them. The stakeholders, the Olokada, the àwọn tó ń tẹran, every other thing. But we still want to appeal to them that we should endeavor to be treating these students like our own children. We also have our children outside, and we know what they do. They should please help us. They've been helping us, but they should help us further by kí wọ́n fi ojú àánú kí wọ́n fi wo àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Most of the time, then some landlords, that was what was discussed at the last bike off. Tó yẹ pé wọ́n sọ pé per session ni wọ́n fi rent ilé per session so that tán bá ti gbọ́ pé polytechnic ti parí exam báyìí wọ́n á ní kán máa kẹ́rù ẹlòmíì dẹ̀ sì fẹ́ ṣe project tó fẹ́ ṣe bá ṣàwò so I think per annum no man charge ilé so if they do it but they wouldn't talk if the time is now shortened. What if there is crisis and there is an elongation of what will happen? So we still want to beg them. Pé ìpa tán bá ń pa ọ̀gbẹ̀rì kán má pọ̀ ọmọ àwò bẹ́ẹ̀ kán ṣàánú àwọn students wa. That is, and then particularly to the television station, I want to express management appreciation because the station has given us a leverage when it comes to our image. The representation, how you have been projecting the institution. We want to appreciate you. I want to wish you, everybody, Merry Christmas and then a Happy New Year.